Before we kick off today's episode, I want to invite you to my 3-part free masterclass that is starting this week on Thursday on the 23rd of September. The masterclass is called The Key to Your Easy Life, and it literally does what it says. You will discover the key, the secret, the elementary ingredient for you to have an easier life, a life with more fun and with more happiness. So come and join us in this 3-part masterclass starting this week on the 23rd of September. The second part and the third part are next week on the 28th and the 30th of September. Come and join us for free. You can find the link in the show notes. Go to the show notes, press the link so you can save your seat on the 3-part masterclass, The Key to Your Easy Life. Welcome to the Raise Your Energy podcast. Today's episode will be a bit more tough love than my previous episodes. I'm going to share with you the top 5 excuses we use to not change. Don't get me wrong, I use all of them from time to time. And at the same time, I try more and more not to. And I will explain more why you should be looking to do the same and stop using excuses for not going after your dream or your goal. So let the fun begin. To talk through the top 5 excuses I regularly come across. I might be triggering you a few times throughout this episode. Some of the excuses might hit home more than others for you, and you might see yourself in them. But don't shy away from it. Don't try to look away. Look at it. Take this opportunity to look closer. This is the time to be open and honest with yourself. If you have a goal or a dream that you have not gone after yet, then you might be using one of these excuses that I will touch on, or a version of it. Excuses help us to stay in our comfort zone. They protect us from putting ourselves out there and potentially get hurt. But is that comfort zone and that fear more important to you than going after your dream? If so, sure. Then just stop complaining about not being able to fulfill your dream. It's as easy as that, right? Okay, let's get started. Excuse number 1. I am already so busy, I don't have time. This has to be the number 1 excuse you and I use. I even use it quite regularly, and I try to be very careful how I speak these days about time. We're making a lot of bold statements about time these days without realizing that we are creating our own damn situation by it. By saying things like, "Oh, I don't have time. I am too busy. Oh, where has the time gone? There is never enough time in the day." We are literally creating no time in our life by saying these things. Like I said, I'm now getting more and more careful of what kind of statements I make in my life and try not to speak about time like this. Because we have the same 24 hours in the day, like Beyoncé and Barack Obama, and they seem to get a lot more stuff done than you and I would say. But the reason why this excuse triggers me is that we do find a lot of time for other things, like scrolling through social media, playing games on our phones, or watching one episode after the other over on Netflix. But we don't have the same time to read a chapter in a self-development book. We don't have the time to research that course we wanted to take since over a year. And we don't have time to declutter that wardrobe, so we don't feel like we want to throw up every time we open the door to it. It's all about prioritization. And I get it. Watching the new season from Good Girls is more important than hitting the yoga mat. I totally am with you. But then don't say you don't have time for yoga. Just be honest and say that relaxing in front of the telly is more important to you than yoga. If you were trapped underground and only had 24 hours worth of oxygen left, you wouldn't check your Twitter feed or chat with friends or spend a little me time in front of TV. You dig and dig and dig the entire time, right? We are using this excuse so damn much that we don't even realize it anymore. It comes automatically to us. So, just a bit of tough love here on this one. Next time you hear yourself saying the time word, check yourself. Was it really the case that you had no time, or did you just make an excuse? Okay, moving on to excuse number 2. I have heard it all before. I know it already. This is an excuse. If you use it, it hurts you the most. If you say some of these following phrases, you might hurt your own personal development and growth. Phrases like, oh, I know it already. Oh, yes, yeah, I've heard it before. Oh, yeah, I agree. Or, no, I don't agree. Oh, yeah, somebody mentioned this before. Or, oh, no, that contradicts what someone else told me already, so I'm not going to listen. If you are running around with this full cup of knowledge and I know it all, then there is no room to fill anything else in. And I don't want you to be already closed off and with a made-up mind. That's not going to do anything for you. You might be missing out. Imagine you read a book or take part in a training with this mindset. You might be missing just this one thing or a few small things that you will be able to take away from this training or the book. Maybe it's a new perspective, a new idea, or a known idea just packed in different words. And what if this one or this few small things can make a huge change for you? But if you're walking around in your life with a full cup and closed off mind, these small things have no space to end up inside of you. So my huge request is to start walking around in your life with an empty cup. Just imagine of how much of these small ideas you can fill into your cup when you're open for them. When you have the willingness to try something new or to see something differently to how you have seen it in the past. You might have heard the saying before, if you change the way you think about things, the things you think will change. And that's why we're ultimately here, because we want to change something in our lives, right? I think it was Einstein who said, doing the same thing over and over again is the definition of insanity. And that applies even more to thinking. Thinking the same over and over again and expecting a different outcome is the definition of insanity. But hey, that's just my opinion. Right, excuse number 3. It's too expensive. I don't want to spend that money. I want to make clear that I'm not talking here to people who really don't have any money to spend. I am talking here to people who use money as an excuse. There is a huge difference. You might have a dream. Let's say, for example, you want to write music or you want to create music. But you keep saying for years that all of the equipment you need for it is far too expensive and you will never afford it. But have you really looked at alternatives? You might be able to buy something used. You might be able to borrow it from someone or somewhere. Or you can look for other ways, think outside of the box to create music. And What about the years that you complained about not being able to fulfill this dream because it's too expensive? Did you make sure to save for your dream? Have you been putting money aside so one day you can fulfill and go after your dream? Well, then your dream cannot really be that serious if you don't take serious steps towards it. I live in a country that likes their cars. We love our German cars and we like them to always be new or new-ish. Well, I don't. I drive a 11-year-old French car, but there are a lot here who love their car and spend a lot money on it. And some of them then use the excuse to not being able to spend the money on something that leads to their dream or to their goal, the one that they have been talking about for many years. I'm sorry, but if you can renew your car every 2 years, you have the money. You are just using money as an excuse to not get started and to get out of your comfort zone. For me, cars don't matter, but what is important for me as an example is my house where I'm living and working in. Other people will probably look at me and say, "Whoa, why do you have such a big house?" True, I don't really need such a big house, but I want it. And I don't make money excuses anymore in my life. I have been working a lot on my money mindset this year, and I have stopped using money as an excuse. If something is so important to me and a priority, I make sure to get the money or I will just spend it, and I won't spend it on something else. And I want to touch on the self-fulfilling prophecy that we are creating ourselves as well by saying things like, "It's too expensive. I don't have the money." What do you think happens if we keep saying it? Yeah, correct. We will never have the money. It will always stay too expensive. We are creating our own world through our thoughts, beliefs, and the words we are saying. And what is too expensive anyway? What is $1,000 to you? If you go to the shops and you buy a chewing gum for $1,000, sure, that is overpriced and expensive. But if you buy your dream house in the dream area of where you want to live and you spent $1,000, whoa, that's a bargain. Money is relative. Well, that's just my 2 cents to this topic. Let's move on to excuse number 4. And that is, I don't know where to start. Everyone starts at 0 at some point. The difference is that the ones that have achieved something, that have gone after their dream and fulfilled their goals or working towards it, is they started. They did not wait around and used, "I don't know where to start" as an excuse. If you really want to start, just move backwards from your goal. Find out the first steps you can take now and just start. Results come from actions. You know, I truly, truly believe in manifestation. But to manifest something in your life means to take action. I believe in manifestation, not magic. The smallest step will make you feel already better about yourself. And you will see it is actually not that difficult. Do you know a situation where you kept ruminating in your head if you should do it, if you should give it a go, or just start? But then your mind throws all of these curveballs. What if, what if, what if? Quite often in life we don't get clarity by not doing anything and keep asking ourselves or even others. We get clarity by getting into action. And if you have the question if something is the right thing for you or not, you will probably never find out if you don't try it out. Just start. And if you really truly don't know where to start, there is something that is called the internet. By now, there is an answer to everything on Google. Pick one of them. Stop thinking about which one is the best. Go with your gut and pick one and just do it. Get started today. And now the last one, excuse number 5. What if it doesn't work for me? What if I fail? On this last excuse, I'm actually going to switch my tone to be and feel a bit more empathy, because this one is really hard. We might build up this huge dream and these hopes on something, and we know we will be so damn disappointed if we fail, or if it just doesn't work for us. I know this feeling very well. It has held me back in the past countless times, and it still does today. You might not be listening to this episode now if it would have stopped me from creating this podcast. And I asked myself, what if it fails? What if I put myself out there? What if I put all of these hours and hours of work into it and nobody listens to it? At the end, it is still an excuse for not putting ourselves out there, for not trusting enough in ourselves, for not moving out of our comfort zone, for not just giving it a go and trying it out. And if you think, Linda, I'm just too scared, join the club. We are all scared, but you have a choice. Do you want this fear to hold you back? Or do you want to use this fear to fuel you to do whatever it takes to succeed? So, we covered a lot. You might have agreed with some of it, and some of these excuses have been actual excuses that you have used in your life before. And I don't say that we will end up never using excuses in our lives. That's just not very realistic. It's about looking closer and be more honest to ourselves on the ones that really mean something to us. At the end, it's yourself that you're hurting with these excuses, because you're creating your life based on them. And if you truly want to achieve a dream goal or bring change into your life, then start looking at these excuses and the fears behind them and the comfort zone you will need to step out of to get it. Thank you so much for listening today. Make sure to leave a review if you like this episode and share it with someone that could use this lesson as well. With that, I love you and leave you. Talk soon and bye-bye. Before we close this episode, I want to remind you of the 3-part masterclass that is starting just in a couple of days. So make sure that you sign up, find the link in the show notes, register and save your seat on this exclusive and live event over the next 1.5 weeks. I am really looking forward to have you there. So come and join us in the masterclass, The Key to Your Easy Life.